Hello everyone, it's me, Rachel. Welcome back to Book and Bloom. Today I'm going to be sharing the 6 books that I read in July. I had a great month of reading. Even though this isn't the most books I've read in a month, this actually ended up being the most pages I've read in a month. I keep track of how many books I read in a month and how many pages. I created a new record this month and I read 2,630 pages. Pretty cool that I was able to actually beat that record. So I started out the month by finishing a series of unfortunate events, and if you are curious about how that went and my thoughts on that series, definitely watch the reading vlog that I made. I bring you guys along with me. So I originally was trying to read the last 5 books in a week. I guess I'm a little bit slower than I want to be, than I hoped I would be, and so it took me more like 10 days, but I still think that that's pretty good. So instead of finishing before the end of June, I ended up finishing towards the beginning of July. That series was so good and so fun, but also the ending was just very bittersweet. It was also just sad that it was over, but I really enjoyed that series. I felt like that series was overall like a 5-star series for me. It was just so whimsical, so witty. It was definitely really fun to kind of keep that lighthearted and the imagination alive in my reading. Reading these books that are very popular and very notable that I kind of missed when I was growing up because I was just set in my ways with the books that I read. It's nice to pick those books up. Not everything that is popular deserves to be popular, but there's definitely a reason that some of these books are popular and a lot of people love them, and that's because they're fun and they're good and you know, they're not perfect, but they do a great job of telling a story. And as a writer, as someone who wants to be a storyteller myself, it feels like research reading these books. So it's been so much fun reading these series. Moving on, the next book that I read in July was Archenemies by Marissa Meyer. This is actually the second book in the Renegade series. As I said last month when I started the series again, this is definitely like kind of, you know, your cheesy book series, and you know, now that I'm reading through them again, I think I originally thought this was like a 5-star series for me. I think they're more accurately a 4-star series. I'm trying to like reframe the way that I rate things because I feel like I am a little bit too generous, but it is still a lot of fun and I would still recommend it. I feel like this was a really solid middle book. Sometimes it's hard to write that middle book. The beginning sets everything up, the end has this epic conclusion or whatever, and the middle can be kind of hard to write because you're like, okay, how can you continue the story with making it still feel like there deserves to be another book after this and that this isn't just the conclusion to the series. I feel like it can be a tricky thing in book series. I think that this was pretty solid. I think it was really fun. I mean, I'm very biased because I just love Marissa Meyer. Really good actions, really good twists, some things in this series that just are hard to kind of believe, so you just kind of have to go with it. The world that they live in, it's definitely very comic book vibes. I mean, it has some interesting themes in it that I think, you know, are good. It's not like lacking in depth. Like, I feel like the characters are really interesting. You're just as conflicted as the main character because you can understand where she's coming from, but then you feel as like frustrated with her as she feels as with herself. Both characters kind of are dealing with that, just being so conflicted. I love like the parallels between them. So I'm really enjoying rereading the series, and I definitely would recommend to anyone who enjoys some lighthearted, fun comic book sort of series. Moving on, the next book that I read this month that I would highly recommend because it definitely reminds me of another book that I love so much, The Lonely Hearts Book Club by Lucy Gilmore. This book is really cute. This is a contemporary book, and as I was reading it, I definitely felt like it reminded me a lot of The Reading List by Sarah Adams, which I absolutely love that book. I read that book in January and I cannot recommend that book enough. I was so like excited to find another book that kind of has that similar vibe to it. So this book has several different points of view and each character relates to just feeling kind of lonely in the world, not really knowing what they want or who they are, or they just all kind of struggle with something that just kind of makes them feel like an outcast, like they're lonely, like they don't belong, like these different kind of struggles in their lives, unexpected circumstances. They all come together and form a book club. It's got a librarian in it, it's got a grumpy old man in it. There's a variety of characters. This book definitely tackled a lot of different issues and a lot of different problems that people struggle with. It's definitely a kind of warm contemporary book. Characters they're growing, they have internal conflict. You see these realistic flawed characters and they see that something is wrong in their life, and so then they make a change. You know, friendship and the beauty of that and the beauty of life, and of course as a book lover, books that emphasize the magic of reading and the power of reading and how it can bring people together and make people think. This book definitely made me want to just mark up my favorite book ever, or just any book really. The ending is just like so sweet. I guess this is a sunshiny book, never mind. I love unlikely friends and books. Those kind of books just make me like just want to make friends with everyone and just completely throw out that idea that you have to be like basically carbon copies of your friends. I mean, of course you're gonna have a lot in common with like your best friends, you know, that's just happens, right? But I think there's also an importance in making friends with people that maybe are different from you, are different life stages than you, have different beliefs, give you a lot of wisdom and perspective that you wouldn't have otherwise. Last video I read a book where it said it was a book that makes you have no hope in humanity. This is a book that makes you have hope in humanity. So if you want to feel encouragement and to feel like yes, people can change and they can grow and they can overcome the struggles in life, come together and we love on people and we make friends and we share our love of books or our love of all sorts of things with each other and we find common ground, I guess. I'm declaring it, stamp this book with the award, officially a sunshiny book. I definitely want to follow her books and her writing because I really enjoyed reading this book. And from what I can tell on her Goodreads page, it looks like this is a new genre for her. It looks like most of the time she's been writing like very kind of niche rom-coms that are about dogs or at least that's what it looks like. The next book that she's coming out with looks like it's going to be kind of a similar vibe to it. Moving on, I have been reading Harry Potter for the first time ever and I was incredibly intimidated to read the next book that I'm supposed to read, which is Order of the Phoenix, because those of you who know that this is the biggest book in the series. It is a whopping 870 pages. I borrowed it from my library and I just said, I'm starting this. I'm doing it. I'm going to pick this series back up and I want to finish this, especially because I'm going to school soon. I actually really enjoyed this. I started this book July 24th and then finished it on the 31st. 7 days, almost 900 pages. I think that that's pretty good. There are some wizards on the booktube that could read this book in like one sitting maybe, but I'm not one of those people. So my brother has never seen the movies before himself and so I've been like watching them with him, which has been really fun. And we actually watched The Order of the Phoenix like the day before I finished the book. You'd think that a book like this would be hard to read, like it might be like really slow, but a lot happened and it's crazy how much the movie cuts out some of the story, you know, from the original material. I gave this a 4-star in the whole series. I think my favorite still is Prisoner of Azkaban, and I kind of wish that I would have just read the books first before I watched the movies, because I do feel like I have a little bit of bias because of the movies, unfortunately. But I just feel like overall, like, my favorite things about the Harry Potter series, I love like the coziness of like the school, you know, I love the characters and the teachers. I think the action and everything and the drama is fun. Voldemort and the Death Eaters and all of that drama, that's fun too. But I just kind of love, like, I think my favorite part of Harry Potter is just the day-to-day Harry Potter being a high schooler, going to school and having crushes and having his best friends Ron and Hermione, and just I love those parts of the series. So I don't think I enjoyed this book as much just because the normal warmth and fun and wonder of Hogwarts is kind of tarnished by Umbridge. The ending is also not like as satisfying. One of my favorite characters is Sirius, and so if you guys know what happens in this book, you know why I wouldn't like this book, okay? And especially because they just did not do him justice. What happened to him was just very anticlimactic and he deserved better. This background sound is actually kind of perfect for the Order of the Phoenix. Woo, spooky! I love that we get to see Luna. I guess we met her in this book. I think she's a really fun character. Get to know Neville more and Jenny more. Some of the more side characters are more developed in this book, which I like that. I have some problems with this book. It's just definitely not my favorite. It is still fun. I think this whole series in general is just really fun. It's not a perfect series. I don't think there is a perfect series. Oh wait, Chronicles of Narnia is the perfect series. Don't at me. Mic drop. No cap. What do kids say nowadays? I don't know. This is a fun series. Definitely worth the read. And if you don't want to read these books, watch the movies, because those are so fun. I love them. And if not that, play Hogwarts Legacy. That game is so fun. Also the Lego games. But Hogwarts Legacy, I stinking love that game. It is just so fun, so cozy. I just love exploring and going to classes and just being in the castle, and you can find magical beasts. Oh, that game is just so fun. So I highly recommend that game, especially if you like Harry Potter. And I've heard that they're coming out with a Quidditch game, which is free to play. So, but yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, what is your favorite book in the Harry Potter series? What did you think of Order of the Phoenix? Gonna fend off some Death Eaters real quick. They're coming after me, guys. But I'm still gonna give you this book review. I'm still gonna give you this book video. Give me a nice thumbs up. Give me a comment. If you don't mind, because I'm filming this in this crazy storm outside. But yeah, I'd love to talk to you guys about Harry Potter. If you guys want to talk about that, let's do it. Let's have a fun little combo. The last book that I read this book in a day because I saw it on Hoopla and I just thought it was really cute. Calling All Witches, and it's just this really cute picture book about all the women, all the witches in the Harry Potter series, and just really in the wizarding world, I think is what they're calling it. So I just thought the illustrations were really cute, and I could totally see myself like getting this as a coffee table book. It's just a book of fun facts about these characters and things that they do in the books. If you like Harry Potter, like fun artwork, then you might enjoy this book too. So yeah, this is what I read in the month of July. I felt like I had a great month of reading. Finally read this book, even though it intimidated me. I finally picked it up, and I'm really glad that I did because I really enjoyed it. Reread a book, found a new book and a new author. I felt like I had a great month of reading. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love to hear what you guys read in July. Let me know. I'm always looking for book recommendations, so I'd love to hear what you guys read in the month of July. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Read a book and bloom on. Bye!